Hey, hold up, man. I got something to say, man. Wait. What y'all out here for, man? What you here for, huh? Does your life matter? Does your life matter? You ready for this? You ready to take control?
Hey everybody, this is Brian Dare with the Workshop Podcast, which is a place to build great careers. I'm here with Pat Hamill, who is the CEO of the Oakwood Homes and also helped to start the Colorado Homebuilding Academy and really gives us some good vision and direction there. And so I'm so excited to be with him and to spend some time with him. Pat, thank you so much for joining me today.
Well, thank you, Brian. I appreciate this opportunity. This is one of the cornerstones of my mission, and I love talking about it.
All right, very good. I know that, and that's why I'm excited to talk to you today. So thank you so much for being with me. So I kind of want to start off here. Most of the time when we are on this podcast, whether it's an industry professional like yourself or a graduate of our program or someone who is a trade professional, we discuss their career path, what it has looked like. And of course, a lot of our students are entering into a new career path usually when they come to us. So tell us a little bit about your career path. What does it look like? What kind of turns has it taken? Where has it taken you? Just looking to get into your career story.
Well, I founded Oakwood in 30 years ago this year. So this coming November will be 30 years for the company. I was at the University of Denver, graduated, ended up really taking more of an IT route, was in systems, management, ended up working for a local developer, home builder in that marketplace, and then ended up evolving more so into consulting role. And myself and a fellow who's passed away a couple of years ago, we formed a consulting company and worked for some of the premier builders and developers, across the country. And that's where I always say I got my best education, because we'd always go into a company and everybody would do something really, truly amazing. And that really gave me the fundamentals of that we ultimately started Oakwood with, which was first starting off with values, a strong mission statement that that exists today, and then we ultimately figured out how we were going to really operate the business, and that we commonly refer to as the Oakwood way. Many of the things in terms of our proposition to the customer, in terms of best value per square foot, giving our customers choice, a more enjoyable experience in terms of the delivery process and post-occupancy process of their home, and then communities that really create a sense of place are really the same today that they were when we founded the company, which is they're timeless, which is very exciting. And
when did you find? Sorry, forgive me. When did you found Oakwood Homes?
So Oakwood was founded in 1991.
All right, very nice.
Yeah, November. And
so I love the consistency there. That the vision you went into it with is still really the same DNA. That's great.
Yeah, and ultimately, I have to really credit our learning and growth through the years in our consulting, and really, having a great roadmap in which we could really take the company, which was really, really important. And when we talk about the academy, I mean, my dad was a builder, right? So I'm a SOB, right? Son of a builder.
Nice.
From the Midwest, and I used to always hear, "Gosh, the decline of the American worker in the housing industry." I mean, I've heard it, for 45 years, and you hear it all over the place. And finally, as an organization, we would sit there and talk about, the lack of workers, and really, when you think about it, for the most part, most builders advocate that responsibility to their trade contractors. And, we ask the questions of what are we doing to help our trade contractors really have a great supply of workers, and what do we really need to do to be able to accomplish that? And ultimately, there really wasn't a system. First, we didn't necessarily do a great job at marketing that you can have a really successful career, in the housing industry, and not. And college isn't necessarily meant for everyone. And then we have so many people that are underemployed, either working, let's say, fast food. And there's nothing wrong with having a career in fast food, but but that's not necessarily meant for everyone, and the wages are low. So how can we create some pathways, career pathways for people, where if you don't want to go to college, right? How, I love telling the story. It's like, in 5 years, would you rather end up with $300,000 in the bank, or 300,000 in debt, which happens, right? With student loans,
Right.
and and everything else. And in America, we've lost the VOTEC programs in our schools and everything else. So I know where we're at today is going to be far different than where we will be in 10 years and even 20, and way beyond my lifetime. But we had to start someplace, and I'm so excited about our academy and where it's going, because we're going to be adding HVAC, and we have electrical now, and plumbing, and really creating opportunities for people to really have a meaningful, significant career. I'm really excited about a program. I'm not sure if we're going to launch it this year or not, but when you have somebody that's actually become proficient in the field, and they have this great dream of owning their own business, and I'm excited about our entrepreneurial program on if there's somebody in the trades, be it a framer or plumber, or somebody else that wants to do start their own business, how can we help him with the necessary knowledge and resources, and ultimately support in terms of where we're going. So very excited about about that opportunity, because it will really help people create their dreams, not only create their dreams, but have those dreams executed, as well as how can they do it in a professional and a way, so that they have a really great chance to succeed.
You're speaking my language on that one. That's really good. I get the chance to see our students day in and day out. And as you're talking about the contractor development series we hope to launch, and for those who are looking to own their own business, I would say, very conservatively speaking, about 35 to 40% of our student body, their ultimate dream is to own their own business one day. It's probably over that. I'm guessing it low, I believe. And so we have, as you mentioned, students who in many cases are underemployed. Their careers have never taken off. They've never really had anything they could call, in their mind, a career. It's just been kind of a job, paycheck to paycheck. And yet they're some of the most optimistic, goal-oriented, big dreamers that I've been able to meet. And our school has given them a chance, an opportunity to find something that they may have never even realized before that they're good at, that the world needs, that the world will pay well for. And it's just a cool experience. It's a cool experience to see someone, especially someone who maybe didn't do well in the classroom, and because of that, college they thought was never in the cards for them, and they get their hands on some tools and lumber and learn those trades for the first time, and it's like something clicks. They realize, this is something I'm good at. The unintentional consequences of being not so great in the classroom is, for 12 years, and I think education is doing things to change this, but for 12 years, you may be catching the message, I'm bad at this, so therefore I'm bad at life, and I won't be able to be successful. And when they find a trade, or they find this avenue via building to do something, they say, hey, I'm good at this, and people will pay for this, and I could build my own career and even my own business out of this. It's just really, really cool to be a part of that. And I loved how you described that.
Yeah, thanks, Brian. I love your energy, on that, because it is. I mean, it's it's such an impact that we can have not only in that one student but his family and and beyond. And I loved the I think maybe you sent it to me or somebody sent me the our latest graduation, and to see the smiles on those faces and the energy of people dancing, and that was
Yeah.
that was awesome.
Yeah, yeah. No, that's good. I'm glad you got that. Yeah, we have they're always so energetic. And what encourages me is that some of those students are in some ways they're, from a career perspective, they may be in one of the hardest periods of their life. They may have recently lost their job because of COVID, or their career has just been one underpaying job after another, and now they're unemployed. And even though they're going through a really difficult time in their career, they're always so optimistic and so filled with hope. And by the time they get to the end of the program, they're super enthusiastic, and it's a fun experience to be a part of.
Yeah, changing lives. Awesome.
Yeah, yeah. Can you tell us a little bit about kind of the predecessor to the Colorado Homebuilding Academy? I know Build Strong, and as you entered into the nonprofit and the foundation that you started, that ultimately also led to the Colorado Homebuilding Academy?
Sure. So Build Strong is actually I think it's in its 20th year, and it's just Oakwood for years and years has been a great private company, really dedicated to the public good. So we've always had this great sense of being a good servant organization with doing things in the community, and our focus has really been around and around education. So when we think about the communities we develop, and the schools are just as important as the sewer systems and the water systems and the parks that we put in our community. So we founded Build Strong really to be a catalyst and to be a collector of great ideas, and then work with other foundations to really provide what we call gap funding. We've started schools. We have a new exciting school called the STED School that's going into reunion, which is exciting. I just found out today we're going to have a lottery for 175 spots in this school this coming weekend for its first incoming 9th grade class. So
nice.
Really exciting there. So that's really been our focus. Today we're really focused on, which is my mission. It's really how I can use my creative and disruptive abilities to focus on education, affordable housing, and job creation. So, with the Academy, I really look at it as a twofer. Yes, we're providing education and knowledge, which is awesome, right? But we're also the real focus is how do we make sure that every single student has the opportunity for a job that's going to be a living wage, it's going to be better for their family, have benefits, so that they can grow in their career. How do we create a career pathway? So it's kind of those three things. Oakwood's always been known as a great affordable home. We do obviously a huge continuum in terms of all the business in the world, and but it's great to be able to do this.
That's great. Good. So you just mentioned it, but there was 3 main goals that you have for this part of your career. That was education, job creation, and affordable housing. Do I have those 3 right?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, very good. What kind of helped you define those 3 goals and really articulate them so clearly?
Well, a couple things, but first is it's really where my passion is. Where uniquely I know I can make a difference, right? It's also part of our platform as a business, right? So we do build master plan communities, and schools are important. So Amy and all of her work and what we can do there ends up being very synergistic with what we can do as a community developer, right? We know that's important. And most importantly, we have such a great reputation for doing that, in the community. So we bring credibility to the picture. And
Yeah.
and at the same note, even job creation, and you look at there's nothing better to see a smile on someone's face when they get that job, and I know you see it every day.
Yeah.
That's going to better them. So we have very aspirational goals on how many jobs we can create and the difference we can make. And gosh, our whole economy and our whole system of capitalism really evolves around jobs. And on top of it, there's such a need for it today. So if we can produce a product that the industry needs, we should be successful. So I think that's the challenge. How do we make sure that we train and develop people that can be successful, in the industry? And then the sky's the limit.
Yeah. That's very good. I love it. If you were speaking to one of our students or any young person getting into the home building industry, what would you say are some either character qualities or goals that you would recommend they have if they wanted to be successful in this industry?
Well, I think like anything, it's I think it's developing the things that I look for, initially in any hire or any student is what's their passion like, what's their energy like, there. I think that's got to be number one, and then the ability to be persistent, and stick through. There's always going to be great times, and there's also going to be some times when things aren't so great, right? And how do you have the persistence to stick through it? But I just think about my career, and I think about so many careers that I've been able to watch. It's so wonderful, and I think having somebody with goals and wants to achieve it. I think the sky's the limit. I mean, you can start off as a framer and be a home builder. You can follow my path. I mean, I often refer to it as the last American frontier, and there's no other industry that could offer so much opportunity to so many people. And I think your statistic of, you thought somewhere around 35% of our students wanted to have their own business. I mean, that's so telling, right? That's a great answer.
Yeah, that's good. I like that. So, and I like how you talked about how there's so many different ways to get in this industry. Of course, most of the students that we serve purposely are looking for hands-on, skilled trade type of jobs, but there's so many careers in the home building industry that aren't that necessarily, but connect you with just people that are, it's a cool industry to be in. I myself have been involved in 3 very different industries, and just to see the optimism of this industry and the collaboration and the networking that I see happening in this industry, it's just a cool thing to be a part of, and it's cool to introduce people into this industry, whether they are looking to use their hands and learn a trade or something else, just looking for an opportunity and finding one here. It's a cool thing to be a part of. Let me rewind a bit. You had mentioned that you started in IT for a home builder. Is that right? And then went to consulting after that?
I did. Yeah, mainly systems. So back when I started, like back in 81, 82, computer systems were very new. So in terms of back office systems. And so I worked on, scheduling systems and purchasing systems and customer care systems, and then implementing those, the automation, piece of it. But it was a great fundamental background. And, and I always say that if you can't you got to proceduralize before you can ever computerize, and and make those systems work in an environment.
Mm-hmm. I love that. That's good. And so then you also mentioned you're a son of a builder as well. So this was an industry you're familiar with.
Yeah, I kind of grew up, and because of that, I thought, gosh, this is the last industry I ever want to get into. So,
Yeah. Well, that didn't quite work out for you as you were as your young self was planning on.
yeah, I didn't have that necessarily initial desire.
No, I understand. That's good. That's good. Great. Good. I appreciate that. Okay, so now that I rewinded, let me fast forward here a bit and let me pick up where you were talking about the Colorado Homebuilding Academy and some of your three major goals there that you have for your career right now. You are, of course, hoping to reproduce what we do here at the Colorado Homebuilding Academy in other locations. Can you speak to that and what that looks like and who that's partnering with and how you hope to get that off the ground?
Yeah, so our goal ultimately is and encouraged by a forum group that I'm involved in, is how do we, very much encourage us to replicate what we have and even get better at what we have so that we can replicate it in different markets. Because not only is the need huge in Colorado and Utah for skilled labor, it's the same really almost in every major market in the country. So we're excited about, last week I was in Charlotte, going back in 2 weeks, but we're excited about launching, an academy there with local partners, and so that's great. We've got a partner in New Orleans that wants to launch an academy in that marketplace, and very excited about that. And we've been working with Franworth, which is a franchising company, and their whole business purpose, they have a organization called Franchise for Good, is how do you replicate and scale great ideas. And they've looked at our idea, feel it's a great idea, and so they've been really helping us figure out how we do it and do it sustainably. So all very exciting.
Yeah, that's great. Good. If someone catches wind of this, they're in a city that has, as most cities are, that has a great needs in this area to do something like the Colorado Homebuilding Academy, where we train and connect people to jobs. So they're in another city and they hear about this opportunity. What would you say is the best place for them to get started on starting something like the Colorado Homebuilding Academy?
Well, I think, first, just like we talked a moment ago about, what do you look for? And what I look for is somebody that's got a passion, that wants to do something, right? If they've got passion and energy, that's a first step. And then we kind of look and see what they want to do. I think every one of our academies will probably have a little bit different flavor and shape. But Brian, for example, Amy and I were in Charlotte last week, and we came away with 4 awesome ideas for us in Colorado, and that ends up being part of the power of what we're doing, is how do we create a network of other academies for shared learning and growth to to ultimately help produce better quality students and for our students to get jobs. And one of them was an apprenticeship program, or a work, kind of a work. How do we get our students, an opportunity? And obviously, we're doing it through our boot camps and other things. But how do we get them, engaged with a potential employer for 2 or 3 weeks, in some type of paid, apprenticeship program? So we're noodling that
into the training.
Yeah, to get in there and how do we get our trade contractors, committed to giving students an opportunity to explore, careers, and so I think what a great bolt-on for what we're doing. So that's exciting. And then we, just, how do we ultimately get all the mechanical trades, in our curriculum is obviously a big goal. And so all very, very exciting. And
That's great. That's good. Well, I know that what we do, and we're starting to get out here in Colorado more and more all the time, and what we do is definitely filling a need, especially, it has always, this is not new. It's probably maybe even generations old, but especially now in this I guess we're not quite post-COVID, but we're maybe on the backside of the COVID shutdowns and all the loss of jobs. We just seen a migration of people from all kinds of industries, mostly food and beverage industry, retail, of individuals who have lost their jobs, some of whom have invested a lot of years and time, and in some cases education, into these fields. And the downside is that they're unemployed. The upside is it's given them opportunity to say, maybe this isn't what I wanted to be doing in the first place. And
well, God always, if one door shuts, usually another one opens, right?
Yeah.
And hopefully we're aware of it. But yeah, it is sad because many of these jobs that have been lost will never come back.
I know, and it pains me to think about, and I hear about day in and day out of individuals who we've had a number of chefs, for example, and they have both education and experience in the food and beverage, and they are currently facing unemployment, but then also, even as they look into the future, they think in terms of, I didn't think I'd ever lose my job as a chef, or at least I never thought there would not be another opportunity for me to get a job because people need to eat. And finding out for the first time in their career that this may not be as stable as they thought. And it's sad to see. It really is sad to see. I would love to see ways of rebuilding some of these industries that are collapsing. But the upside to that, at least from our perspective, is that some of these individuals are being able to transfer some of the same skills, and with a little bit of training and a little bit of networking, into a new industry, and it's provided a lot of hope for a lot of people. And so it's cool to be a part of the solution for that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, thank you. Well, I'm about ready to land the plane. Any final words of encouragement for our students, or for anyone who's looking to be a part of the solution when it comes to job creation and education and building our communities?
Well, first, Brian, thank you for what you're doing, and Damon and all of our other instructors at the Academy, because you were doing great work, and what a legacy you all are creating, right? And for yourselves, because that impact will live on generationally, and that's great. My only thing would be, come in and explore and see what an opportunity can look like in the the housing and construction industry. And it's a great career opportunities, like you mentioned, in a variety of different areas. And it's a pathway that can lead ultimately to owning your own business, or careers in companies, in management and leadership, throughout the organization. So all of it's just exciting. It's been so good to me, and it can be so good to so many people.
Thank you. Those are very appropriate words. And again, thank you so much for your time and your encouragement. It's just an honor to be a part of this. And we're so thrilled that Oakwood Homes and you were behind this initiative and have a real strong vision for its future. And so thank you for that. We obviously couldn't exist without you and the support of Oakwood Homes, and it's changing a lot of lives in a real tangible and felt financial way. And so we really, really appreciate that. Thank you for taking the time with us.
Yeah, thank you, Brian, for all you do, and just everybody stay safe. So
we'll do it. You do as well.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Let me know anything else I can do, for sure. So
I'll do that. I really appreciate that very much.
You bet. Okay.
All right.
Awesome.
Well, have a great afternoon. We'll catch you. Well, hey, everybody. I really hope you enjoyed that interview. Just to recap, if you're looking to get plugged into our program, or you are an employer that would like to hire our students, please do get in touch with us. You can find me at 303-358-4409, or Brian, Brian, at cohomebuildingacademy.org. We have the boot camp that's available to get your start in the construction field, as well as skills trades training, as well as construction management. I'd love to talk to you about the details of all that. You have a wonderful day. Thank you so much for listening. I'll catch you later. Bye.